So for a long time now, I've been receiving services from the Centre de Santé. And when I had my daughters, I thought it was important for me to bring them there as well, so that they could be understood and so that we could understand better what was going on with their health. Every time I brought them in, either for vaccination or any other health care issue, it was always reassuring to know that the nurse could ask them the questions when they were old enough to answer in French, and my daughters could answer in French, and I didn't have to be the interpreter. It was reassuring as well, because when you're sick, it's always good to know that the person talking to you, speaking to you in French, can reassure you, can tell you what's going to be happening in your language. It was always something that was positive for me to bring them there instead of anywhere else where they would be spoken to in English. So last summer, my little one Céleste, at the age of 4, needed a serious surgery in her throat. One of the nurses called me so that I could come into the first post-op room where a parent usually isn't allowed. I could hear my daughter screaming and crying in the background. Another nurse was telling her, I could hear her saying, "Don't worry, sweetie, Mama's coming and Mommy will be here soon." And I knew that she didn't understand what that nurse was saying and that it was having no effect at all, because she kept screaming and crying even more. So I was guided into that room, and I've never seen my daughter like that, and it was a little worrisome. I was trying to keep calm for her, and she was trying to pull out her intravenous. They had placed a diaper underneath her because she had had an accident. I could see that she was scared, that she didn't know what was going on. The ladies were trying to tell her, the nurses were trying to tell her that she shouldn't take out the intravenous. They were trying to hold her hand back. There was a cartoon playing near her on a television set in English, which she didn't understand. We didn't teach her English. We figured she would simply learn it in school. So nothing that they were telling her was registering. All of the things that they wanted her to know, she didn't understand. And so I had to essentially be called into the room to calm my daughter down in French. It was a really tough situation, and I really would not want to relive it. I was told by the nurses that it's common that children will wake up from a surgery groggy, disoriented, sometimes very frustrated, and can be sometimes angry or crying. But I think that the fact that Céleste didn't know what they were saying to her increased her emotional state. She was already confused and already hurting and didn't know what was happening. And so the fact that they were trying to explain to her in English what not to do or what to do, and she didn't understand, made her angry, because I think she wanted to understand and she couldn't. And so maybe if a nurse had spoken to her in French and explained to her what was happening, where she was, she might have been a little bit calmer. A French movie, possibly. In the documents that I signed, I'm sure that I wrote that she was French. I don't know if people noticed that she was only French speaking, but it was frustrating for her, and it was frustrating for me as a parent to see her in such a panic. And so it was a situation that I really didn't enjoy, and I wouldn't want to relive.